Welcome to Friday. It's June 12th, 2020. Well, for those of you getting ready to go into the great outdoors this weekend, there's good news and bad news. The good news is it's going to be much better than it was a weekend ago when we had those hellacious winds and those severe thunderstorms followed up by the cold, wet, wintry weather that we had Monday and Tuesday. This weekend will be better. Will it be perfect? No. It won't be perfect, but we're making progress. It's going to be warmer and it is going to be breezy as we work our way through today and the weekend. Today is going to be another remarkable nice day. But yesterday in many parts of this podcast zone, it was just a really nice day, and that's how today will go as well. But the winds are going to pick up this weekend. We're going to have some thunderstorms. Most of the thunderstorms come on Saturday, but we do need to be ready for some windy areas, and we'll show you that. It is going to be a little bit cooler for the northern Rockies of Idaho and Montana and northern Wyoming into North and South Dakota Sunday and Monday. Quiet weather, not a lot's going to happen through the first half of next week. Now, next week, as we get to the end of the week, as we get into Thursday, Friday, and next weekend, we're probably going to see better chances of thunderstorms return to the high plains and Rockies as a little bit of moisture comes up from the southwest. We'll show you that as well. This is where we're starting the weekend. This is for Saturday morning. The jet stream is flowing along like this. Another trough coming into the west coast with a high pressure ridge over the center part of the nation. So this is going to bring in the warm, very warm temperatures out of the desert southwest here over the weekend with that southerly wind flow. Notice, like last weekend, we have this low pressure here, we've got a high pressure here, so we have a gradient of pressure and temperature. So while this is not as extreme as last weekend, this flow of air with the jet stream coming up from the southwest like this is going to make things windy for some of you this weekend. Let's take a look now at precipitation, and then we're going to go back to the wind. These are the forecasted precipitation areas from today through Sunday. A couple of things to point out. This flow of moisture right here is mostly the thunderstorms that are going to come Saturday afternoon and evening as a slug of moisture gets pushed up out of Arizona and New Mexico, works with daytime heating in mountains. So Saturday afternoon and evening, do be on the lookout for some thunderstorms along the mountain ranges of Colorado and Wyoming and parts of the eastern side of the divide. Up here, this is associated with that Pacific trough. So the Pacific Northwest is going to have a cool, wet start to the weekend. As you get west of the divide, it's not nearly as wet, or the chances for thunderstorms certainly lower across portions of the western slope of Wyoming into Idaho and Utah. The thunderstorm chances lower this weekend. Now let's look at the wind. These are the peak wind gusts for Saturday afternoon. And you can see there's a band that goes southwest to northeast. This is not unlike the same area that had the wind last weekend. It's more focused into Utah and south central and southwest Wyoming than the bullseye is for folks up in eastern Montana and western North Dakota. We also have another area of stout southerly winds in eastern Colorado, western Kansas, and the Oklahoma and Texas panhandles, while you can see the mountain areas somewhat protected from those strong wind gusts Saturday afternoon. On Sunday, the winds are going to ease, but we're still looking at some breezy conditions across portions of the Intermountain West. The worst of the wind shifts more east into southwestern and western Kansas and southeast and eastern areas of Colorado. Temperature-wise, look how warm it is. And again, this is another weekend of contrast. These are our forecasted high temperatures in the Pacific Northwest for Saturday. Look at these temperatures, only in the 50s and 60s. However, along and east of the Continental Divide, look at the heat. We got temperatures well into the upper 80s and 90s for Saturday. For Sunday, some of that cool air advances east. The warmer air gets pushed out more to the east a little bit. Then we start to see the heat build back into the deserts of Arizona. Now, this heat, this hot weather in the desert states in June helps to draw that moisture up from Central America and Mexico, starting the summer monsoon thunderstorm season down here. It gets started in June and then works its way northward. I think a little bit of that moisture what's coming late next week. And that's what we see. This is the forecasted precipitation, including the second half of next week. Notice there's more moisture now east of the Continental Divide. So thunderstorm chances are going to be picking up late next week. The trough that's coming in this weekend, this is for Sunday into Monday morning. Notice the high pressure ridge that was like this Saturday gets flattened out. So this will lead to a little bit of a cool down for some areas, especially up here, as we get on into Sunday and Monday, while the rest of the southern high plains and Rockies is under quite a bit of warm, high pressure into the start of the week. By the end of next week, this is by Friday, we see that the high pressure ridge is weaker, and we have a flow of air that's coming from the desert states, but it's not as warm, and it contains a little bit of moisture. And that's going to lead to those better chances of afternoon and evening thunderstorms. So when we got a trough up here, that means colder air aloft, better moisture coming in. So there is going to be an uptick in thunderstorms second half of next week and towards next weekend. And you can see that. What I'm showing you here is this is what's called precipitable water, basically the water that's available to make clouds and precipitation. And this is by Thursday afternoon. So you can see this green and blue area here going down into the Texas Panhandle. This is a better flow of moisture, and that should lead to some late day thunderstorm chances second half of next week as that moisture gets pushed up from here. Have yourself a great weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday.